So guys, this is the next episode of MC Motivation. And by now we want to know, wait, no, but who's this? If you are in a youth space, women empowerment, leadership, I call her Michelle Obama, just saying, this is the one and only Chrisette Benjamin. Chrisette, good night, good morning, and everything in one. So to this podcast, we'll be talking about redirection. And in terms of, this is tailored for young people, but more so, young women, because I find in society today that social media and like in terms of what social media preaches could send you up a mountain, down a mountain and a valley, and you're not too sure where you should go. So before we go into that, who's Chrisette?
Excellent question. To summarize, who is Chrisette? Chrisette is a multifaceted youth and social development advocate. I am very passionate about including youth in decision-making processes. And I'll start off by saying I am a master's student in child and youth development. Professionally, I am a program officer and consultant attached to a Canadian Interparliamentary Institute called PAL Americas, and I'm the only one in the Caribbean. So I boast about that.
The Caribbean.
I am a former two-time national youth parliamentarian, and I'm also the founder of a non-governmental organization called the I Believe in Success Foundation.
Okay.
Former youth ambassador for the U.S. Embassy as well, so that's the connection with the international relations, and I'll stop there for now.
Well, and you know, well accomplished, and the way in which you articulate your accomplishment, I'm sure that behind that success story, there's a testimony.
Most definitely.
And as we go into it, I want to know, between 2023, what has been a challenge for you that you didn't see coming that you could share to encourage first before we go into the redirection?
Great question. There are two challenges that I viewed as most definitely impacting my mindset and how I perceive life. One being during the COVID-19 period, I would have been diagnosed with a cyst that was the size of a basketball, and I had limited time to get it removed as it was continuously growing. And at this point in time, I was not employed, and doing it through the public health system was not an option because I would have been on the list to do the surgery probably like 2 years after. So I had to opt to do that with the private sector, well, privately.
Yeah.
And the cost for the surgery was $50,000. And
you win lotto?
No, it was just amazing how having good people around you who hosted a barbecue fundraiser, and then Trinidad and Tobago definitely came through with the donations. And in a matter of 2 weeks, I was able to get the funds necessary to do the surgery. And ever since this diagnosis, even though I lost one body part that is important for females, I didn't let that deter me, but I used it as motivation to do an annual project called the Sunflower Power Project, where I ensure that young women who may not be able to afford to go out to a gynecologist because it's not cheap. Every year for my birthday, I sponsor one person to do that and get the full health and wellness package by partnering with other young women with businesses and stuff like that. So I think that definitely taught me that no matter what life hits at you, yes, it may affect you in the beginning, but it all depends on your mindset, because there's there's purpose in every loss. And it definitely showed me that my purpose is that I could overcome anything in this life. I overcome a surgery.
Big up you. And I think I recall seeing the Sunflower movement that would have helped a next young lady before. Had it?
Yes, thus far I've sponsored 2 young ladies.
Yeah, that's actually a really excellent initiative, because you had to go through it in order to have a heart to help other persons who may go through it. And now those 2 persons would have had to be grateful.
Yeah.
Because you know experience it. And it's a saying that sometimes we ask ourselves, why do we go through this? Like, what's the reason But I'm sure now you have a reason as to why I had to do something like that.
Yeah.
So that's one, and you overcome that. What's the second one?
The second one, and I will say is perspective. 2023 would have been the year that I envisioned that I would be doing my master's in a university in the US. Since I was 18, I had this dream of doing my master's in social policy in the US, and the avenue that I wanted to do that through was the scholarship that's attached to the US Embassy. Forever big them up because they invested so much in my life and my journey. And the way how that scholarship is, you apply a year in advance. So I would have applied last year, was shortlisted and went through the interview phase, and that was me saying, yeah, this is it. I have it in the bag. I went and did the interview. You know, the person in the interview was smiling and walk out there confident, you know. And at this point, I was working at my previous job, and I remember I was blogging with my coworkers, and I remember when the email came in, because they all was set on, yeah, Chrisette leaving 2023, and I was doing OJT, so regardless, my contract was about to end in 2023, so I was like, yes, this is step 2 in my life. Had a job for 2 years, and I'll do my master's abroad, fully funded, etc. Remember the email came in that saying that I didn't move forward, and I had to mask my emotions because that was this one dream that I set for myself just disappeared. So, honestly, I didn't say anything.
Right.
I was disappointed, but it's ironic that a few days later, I got an email that asked me to do an interview for a higher job position with the company that I work for. So backstory, because I would have seen come into a group chat, because I'm a former YWIL participant, that had 2 job openings. One that required someone to have a master's and be bilingual. I bypassed that.
You bypass mean that you trilingual or?
No. When I say I bypassed it, I didn't even bother to sign up for it.
Okay.
But there was an opening for a project assistant that all they really wanted was someone with a degree in community work. And I was like, okay, can I apply for that? Yeah. So I applied for it, but honestly, when I saw I had to do the interview for the scholarship, I forgot I even applied for the position. So that's the backstory with that. So after getting rejected and seeing that I have an email that came in that said they want me to do an interview for a higher position, the position I didn't apply for, I was like, what is this God is trying to show me? So did the interview. It was nice, but I was still not very confident because my biggest life dreams was literally just shattered. So I just went through it, not even hoping for the best, and I'm the type of person always hoping for the best. I just did it. Moved on to the second phase where there was an exam. Now this exam
for the interview? For
the job.
For the job, okay.
To move forward, yeah.
Okay.
So did this exam, and it was to write a speaking notes for a parliamentarian on the topic of care work. Now, being real, that was the first time in my life I have ever heard the concept care work in the context that they wanted me to write about
care
it.
Work.
So I had 1 hour to do this. Now it's early in the morning because I had opted to do it 7 a.m. in the morning. You know, it came in and.
So that means you're early waker.
I just had to at that point in time because of how my day was.
Don't take that. No.
So what usually happens is, as you would see in our previous podcast, Jelani has a way of ranting. So that's his segment.
Listen, Miguel posed me the other day. Nobody even know who I am really and truly. I just be behind camera, right? But Miguel took, and he felt obligated to post me because he threw shots my direction. Nobody don't wake up that early other than you, brother. that 4:30 in the morning that he likes to wake up.
I agree with it. It just
Thank
happened.
you.
It was just that day I had a lot of things to do.
Right.
So I opted to do the exam in the morning. You know, fresh mind when you now wake up. So
Right.
I understand why it's that early morning person. You think more logically.
Right.
So I did the exam and you know, if you're writing for a politician, you can't have any mistakes, no grammatical errors, and submit the exam and tell me why I reviewing the speech I did and I spot 2 errors. I said, that is it. And again, this job, that is it.
2 errors. How long? What was your word count?
You have to write as much as you could in 1 hour because it's speaking notes on the
Right.
topic. So I am previously a writer, so I can write. But you see, the fact that this was a topic that I was not privy to,
Right.
I had to do research plus write.
Within the hour.
Within the hour.
Okay.
So that was my challenge. So 32 grammatical errors and told myself, nah, I ain't getting this job. But it is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
We'll see what life has to fix. So at work now, see an email coming. Hi Chrisette. You know, thanking me for doing the exam. Past that phase and now I'm in the final phase of interview. So it's like,
So it's 3 passes interview.
I am.
Oh, you have to
Final
make
phase.
about 50,000 for the month.
Yeah, so I had to do the interview. Did the interview with the director general and another person on the team. And it's interesting that the interview started and I'm there talking. Their main question was one, because the job requires you to be bilingual, and I'm not bilingual.
You can talk Creole.
What define Creole
And
like Trini?
yeah,
dialect, I
yeah.
think.
And you can talk English.
Yes.
Bilingual. I mean, you fight money, but yeah. Good
No,
truth.
this is a company that deals with Latin America and the Caribbean. I can't use Creole.
That is Creole.
Yeah.
Alright, fine.
I believe anybody could use Creole. You see that push lip? I believe anybody know that.
If only see behind the camera right now, this man that kind of. Yeah.
So in the questions, yeah, so the main question was, you know, the task requires you to interact and review documents that are in Spanish. How are you going to effectively fulfill your job by not being bilingual? And I made reference to what any other person would do to bullshit. Sorry if I can't use. But
What's
the
that?
bullshit in these moments is Google Translate. So I told them boldly, I will Google Translate every document until I grow to be familiar with Spanish. And so to my surprise, that answer sufficed. All of a sudden now the interview went on to us talking about politics in the Caribbean. And then the director general will look to tell me, well, by now you probably know I am going to hire you. So I was just there like,
So, okay. So from that 3-part interview, you finally got hired. But tracking back a bit, you mentioned that when you felt rejection. You felt rejected in terms of you didn't get your life goal dreams. And a lot of young people today, when they get rejected, we don't know how to deal with it.
true.
We spiral. We end up going for fix me up or pick me up quick, or we go to the wrong things and then we end up spiraling.
Bad coping mechanisms.
Yeah. And rejection is not something that we know how to take, especially, I'm not going to attack any ladies here, but generally I knew, and tell me if I'm wrong, that some ladies don't know how to handle rejection in any format.
It's true.
So like for you, and I'm sure you have the same blood as anybody else, how did you handle that form of rejection? wait, this segment funny right now. So, just to get a little context of why we laughing, because it's a shift in mood.
Remember,
We don't cut scenes here.
we don't got nothing here.
So we have a team now, and within the team, some persons are tired, and while talking, they just had to hear, righty. And that's the only reason. But going back, really back in coming into it, like, how really did you handle that rejection? And tell me it in such a way that persons could relate and use what you did, or try to use that to come back.
I think what I would have done is firstly allow myself to feel the emotion, but I try to apply this rule. You could feel sad, you could feel however you want to feel, but when 24 hours is up, pick back up yourself. Because life would have shown me that certain situations would happen, but will always work for your greater good, and there's a purpose in everything happening. And my life has definitely shown me that the things that I thought I wanted for myself, because
it's just gonna look like one big chop. Podcast, Jelani like to rough up the time.
The signals and everything.
Yeah, Chrisette was not aware. Continue.
Sorry guys.
No, that's right.
What was the last thing I was saying?
In terms of when the 24 hours is done,
right.
Pick up yourself.
Yeah, pick up yourself, because certain things would happen in your life and there's a purpose. Even the bad things. And I have it written on my wall.
Right in that corner.
Right in that corner. May my bad days prove that God is good. Because there is so much goodness that could come out of a bad situation.
Repeat that for me.
May my bad days prove that God is good. And I've seen that happen in my life over and over and over. And then you have to accept that sometimes the things that you think you want for your life is definitely not what God wants for you. And you just have to trust. You just have to trust, even if your heart is broken, even if it doesn't work out, even if you thought that was the last answer to you coming out of whatever situation, you have to trust that God has something so much better in store for you. And I've seen that happen time after time after time. And when you reach in that position, of course you'd feel neglected sometimes, or you might feel disappointed, or you'll feel like nothing going your way. But after that 24 hours, pick yourself up and realize that, oh, this is not the end. Good things are on the way. And you'll only be able to receive the good things if you believe within yourself. Because the mind and the tongue is so powerful. The things that you speak out there. I actually remember watching myself in the mirror and telling myself that something better has to be on the way. And something better was most definitely on the way. Because my job has me flying from country to country.
Drinking champagne.
I am living the international relations dream right about now. I love, love, love my job. And I'm just so happy that I didn't get what I thought I wanted. And for you young ladies out there, you could apply this to any situation. Sometimes the plan you have for your life is nothing compared to the plan that God has for your life. So if something doesn't work out, yeah, cry, bawl, scream, let your eyes swell, that's fine. But after that 24 hours, tell yourself that God has something so much better in store. And in that waiting period, prepare yourself for it. Prepare yourself for it. Think more positive thoughts. Change up how you portray yourself. So
I think we calling this podcast the 24 hours one, because you see that 24 hours, that's your time to be in touch with the emotions. And that one is something that is so important even for young men as well. To be in touch on how you feel, because it doesn't make sense masking it. I think, Chrisette, we had to hire in the show again, because I mean, I know there's much more, but I really like the fact that you mentioned that you said that you are happy that you didn't get what you want. And that is a heavy statement, because it actually means that you're allowing the will of God to happen in your life. Guys, this really and truly have so many nuggets in it. So this is something that, check out Chrisette on Instagram, Chrisette Benjamin. I mean, you will see you say you're going from country to country, drinking champagne when you're thirsty.
No, I already say champagne.
All right, okay. But guys, you know how it's normally end the podcast? We just say, barang, barang, barang. Easy.